Good evening everyone and welcome to Esports Mini League 2. We are here for rounds 3 and 4 of the championship. Once again we take in the British Grand Prix, and for round 3 of the championship I couldn't think of a better place to go. And then of course round 4 will be from Mexico City, Mexico at the Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez. If you are just tuning in for your and whetting the appetite for your Wednesday night, you're getting your motorsporting fix, then you've come to the right place. Of course, I'm James Head, going to be taking you through the action as always for Mini League 2, and to be honest I wasn't expecting to be here tonight. There was a bit of confusion leading up until the run-up, so this is the final week you're going to be seeing Mini League 2 live. Mini League 1 will also be live here tonight, and I guarantee that you guys will tune in for that as well. Australia and Spain that will be. And just to reiterate, just to clarify for anybody that might doubt it, we have got 4 teams of 5 drivers here in Mini League 2. Now the stark difference is there's only 4 teams in Mini League 2, 5 teams in Mini League 1, and I know there was a few hiccups last week about that. So just to clarify, Mini League 1, 5 teams of 4 drivers. So just to confirm that if anybody was getting confused about that. And with the running of Mini League 2 last week, I will now inform you of the points coming into tonight. Of course, only 4 teams available, but it is quite tight towards the top of the standings. It is Team Norway Racing Esports, TNR for short, on 158 points, currently leading the way by a 26-point gap to CPI Esports, who I think might mark a little bit of a comeback here tonight. For CPI, they're on 132 points in second. TTG Academy in third, a little way down. They're on 75 points in third position. And YWR, Young Walker Racers, is in fourth on 56 points. So that is the standings coming into tonight. And of course, remember that all points are available. Even down to 20th position, there is 1 point available. I will not stress this enough during the course of tonight, because obviously I want to see as many drivers, and I'm sure you guys do too. You want to see really good battles between these teams out on track, really good battles between individual drivers as well. With the point system that we have here in the mini leagues, we want to ensure that everyone is essentially on a fair playing field and does their level best to try and get as many points for their team as possible. So just to clarify on that as well. I'll run through what we expect of tonight. I'll run through the British track map in just a second, but I will inform you guys of who is racing tonight first. So let's have a gander through the lobby and see who is racing for each team. CPI are represented by Schnixel, Lewis, CPI Connor, who was very dominant, I've got to say, last week in Australia, and a very good fond name that I like to see, Bullet Boy, who is part of my League of Europe Division 1 commentary. So he is back here tonight. He's going to be racing for the CPI team. Hopefully his connection holds up. YWR are represented by Pariah, Marcus, Bjartman, just having a look through, Axnes, and they're waiting on another driver, I think, to join up. So hopefully it'll be a full representative of 5 drivers there, and I do believe 5 drivers as well will be the case for CPI. Somebody has just joined on the bottom, TTG Vitinho joining in, and YWR Storm is that final driver there for the YWR team. TTG are represented by Storm, Sean, Conti, Maximus and Vitinho. Lighty, who was due to race, unfortunately hasn't replied, so that's why Maximus has came in as a reserve there. So Maximus now racing instead of Lighty. And for the current leaders in Mini League 2, TNR, they are represented by Orneoli, Torpedro, Tanbergo, and only 3 drivers in for TNR currently out on track. So hopefully we will get the invites out to those guys soon. We should have a full lobby. Z3 is also spectating alongside me. Of course, him being the lobby horse, he can have a real eye on what is happening in the team, and some of you guys might think, well, that might be a bit of a disadvantage towards the other teams. I don't think it is. The lobby horse, he has to come in. Hazara and Virus are the other 2 drivers, just to confirm. You can see them joining in on the bottom there. So Hazara and Virus, both TNR drivers. So we are only waiting, I think, for another CPI man to come in, and then we will be getting going for Mini League 2. I'll have a check through the comment section. I'll run through the track in just a second. Let's have a look then at what is happening. And of course, if you didn't tune in to last night's stream for TTL F2, it was actually our 500th video on the channel. So thank you very much for supporting us in all of that. And above 400 subscribers now, which is fantastic as well. So hopefully we're going to be getting some good action, and we will repay the favour for Mini League 2 as we start up. Gaming Ollie coming in, that is Pariah of course. YWR will show what we are good at. Hopefully that is trying to get as many points as possible and trying to beat TTG Academy. Although I'm not biased towards any team here, I want to see really good battling between all teams and between all drivers out on track. And YWR has actually got a new livery today. Be ready to see that new aggressive, dark and epic. Well, we will see that in just a second. Storm saying good evening as well. Good evening to everyone that is tuning in. And I know in very tough times that we are all going to be tuning in, I think, to motorsport action, albeit in the sim racing world. But it is opportunities like this. It is things like this that really makes the community come together. And I think more than ever, I think we need to just stick around each other and really hammer home that we are here to stay, and this Wednesday night is going to be the night for the mini leagues, and the next one will probably come in a couple of months time, probably in the next 2 months I would think. But obviously with everything that is going on, we have to be united rather than divided. And of course I will reiterate this advice during the course of this evening. Wherever you are, whatever country you're in, stay home, protect the National Health Service, protect your health service, save lives. Simple as that. Britain then is the track we are here tonight. A very fun track of mine. I love commentating around here at Silverstone. Of course it is my home Grand Prix as well, and many of the drivers' home Grand Prix out on track as well. Really, really good track this, and 2 DRS zones, one down the Wellington Straight towards turn 6 towards Brooklands at the end of sector 1, and also down the Hangar Straight, 2 straights, don't get them mixed up. The Wellington Straight is the one up towards Brooklands at turn 6, and the Hangar Straight from turn 14 down towards Stowe at turn 15, so just be wise for that. We are getting underway then. It looks like CPI are only going to be racing with 4 drivers. The rest of the teams will have 5 drivers, the other 3 teams of course being TNR, YWR and TTG Academy, so they're going to be racing here tonight. Hopefully you guys are tuning in wherever you may be to some sporting action here tonight, and we are here for Britain. For Mini League 2, I'm James Head, going to be your commentator as always for these mini leagues, these earlier Mini League 2 races. And of course, if you are just tuning in and you're wanting to see Mini League 1, you'll have to wait about an hour and a half, but you can stick around if you want. Mini League 1 will be running tonight, Australia and Spain, and I will reiterate that there is 5 teams of 4 drivers in Mini League 1, 4 teams of 5 in Mini League 2. So that's where you'll be seeing all of this happening out on track. Mini League 1 then, Mini League 2 sorry, is about to begin. One-shot qualifying awaits the drivers out on track. Of course we should be expecting CPI. I think in terms of pace in one-shot qualifying, CPI seem like they've got the overall package in terms of their drivers, providing of course that they do all have a very good lap out on track. Names to watch out for, I think, in this one-shot qualifying session. Connor, very impressive in Australia last time out. Bullet Boy, when he can put a good lap in, he's quite good. And also for TTG, I think Storm could do quite well. He should be right up there. Lewis as well for CPI. There's quite a few from TNR as well. Only Ollie who can set a good lap in, and Hazara normally can set a good lap in as well. Sean for TTG Academy. We are underway then for one-shot qualifying, and we're on board with YWR Marcus, who's now coming down towards turn 1. A very peculiar looking livery, if I've got to be honest. Dark and epic. Definitely does justice, I think, to the YWR livery that is on tonight. But coming through the loop section through 3 and 4. Through Village and into the loop, and then down towards entry through turn 5 and towards the end of sector 1. Opening up the DRS then down the Wellington Straight, where the international track, of course, intersects with the Grand Prix track, and running down the hill, running down slightly towards sector 1, 27.6 through the first sector for Marcus. He was well up there in the early stages. There's quite a lot of going on though in one-shot qualifying, as you would expect. But let's focus then on Marcus's lap as he comes through. We'll cut through turn 8 and now down the old pit straight towards the old turn 1 at Cops. Halfway through the lap then already here at Silverstone, running very nice through there. Nearly flat out there from Marcus. So I just turn my TV up a little bit so you can hear the sound. Marcus on a set of soft compound tyres, running through Maggots and now through Beckett's and then onto the hanger straight. And this is looking like a very nice, neat lap from Marcus. He goes up into 9th, 103.7 through the middle sector then. Now on the run down towards Stowe. On the hanger straight, down towards Stowe at turn 15 before we come to Vale and Club. That is not really necessarily good entry that you take through there. Marcus just seems to be struggling a little bit through there. Now coming through Vale and Club, it looks like CPI Connor, Pariah and Only Ollie, 3 of the guys that I mentioned. Watch out for them. Cross the line, and it is Connor who takes it with a 126.8. The only driver to get into the 126s in one-shot qualifying. Remember, these are multiplayer cars we are running with, and not the Formula 1 cars or the Formula 2 cars that you would expect, of course, if you do tune in from TTL F1 or TTL F2. Marcus there finishing in 12th. Will confirm his lap time in just a second. And it is CPI Connor who takes it by nearly just over 3.5 tenths of a second from Pariah in second. Only Ollie in third, Bullet Boy in fourth. If I had a prediction on, I think, to be honest, I probably would have got that right. To Pedro in fifth, Storm in sixth with Sean in seventh, Hazara in eighth with Vitinho in ninth, Virus in 10th. So the top 10 separated by just under 9 tenths of a second. Schnixel in 11th for CPI with Marcus in 12th. Maximus 13th, Axnes in 14th, Conti in 15th, and Bjartman must have spun on this lap with in 16th there with a 140.9. Storm, Lewis, Tanbergo all not having a lap in, validating on their laps, sadly. Good to see a lot of guys tuning in, a lot of you tuning in to tonight's stream, and wherever you might be from and wherever you are, I welcome you to TTG Mini League 2. If you are tuning in for Mini League 1, that's a little bit later with Kieran McGinley and Aidan Carter going to be taking you through that one. Looking at what Z3xa is saying, make me proud and use some of that ERS, Ollie, says Z3 in the chat. And second, he was saying, what do you think about the livery? To be honest, I think the livery looks quite good. I was on board with Marcus. Purple and black livery doing quite justice there. Dark and epic. I think dark definitely clarifies that. I'm not sure about epic, if I've got to be honest. But we'll have a look at the other drivers, the other teams as liveries in just a second. Of course, 18 laps, 18 corners, I should say, away the drivers out on track. 13 laps in total, 25% race distance. And of course, we go to the Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez for round 4 of the championship straight after this. So, let's have a look at the strategies then as they mark off the grid and now run down towards through turn 1 Farm and Abbey and then towards turn 3 Village. So a majority of the guys going for a set of soft compound of tyres. Now there is no need at all in a 25% race, unless you pick up damage on lap 1, to go for a set of hard compound of tyres. There is the myth that is going to be combusted there by myself. So, looking at the strategies, a majority of the guys on the set of softs, as you would expect, 9 out of the top 10 qualifying on that set of softs, the exception being Bullet Boy actually on a set of mediums. That was a good lap from him in 4th. I know he can go a little bit quicker than I've seen him in League of Europe around here before. So, it'll be interesting to see how far he can go. I would expect about lap 6, maybe, for the set of soft compound of tyres, the guys pitting in early. The same will apply to those that are running down in the bottom half of the field. Schnixel, Marcus, Maximus, Axnes, Conti, Bjartman and Storm all running on a set of soft compound of tyres. Watch out for Lewis on a set of medium compound of tyres. The Brit obviously here tonight, and I think he might do a good job from 18th position. Medium compound of tyres will probably get to around lap 8, lap 9, and then the drivers will decide to pit in to go for what I like to call a bit of a splash and dash in terms of a soft compound of tyres, and those softs towards the end will only be about 20 to 25% worn. That is why I think the mediums to the softs is better than the softs to the mediums. A very slow formation lap here. CPI Connor not wanting to get a move on. He is just trying to control the race and maybe thinking he is expecting a safety car possibly to come out on track, but of course no safety cars here for Mini League 2 tonight. So if you are wanting any crashes or anything, there you can tune out, I think, right now for that. But as we come through Stowe, I will predict the top 3 in just a second. I'll have a look at some of your comments that have been coming through in the meantime. No more comments that have been coming through, but thank you very much to everyone that is tuning in, to the 15 of you. If you want to share it out amongst your family and friends as well, more than welcome to, as we get prepared here for 2 races. 1 in Britain, 1 in Mexico for round 3 and 4 of Mini League 2. My prediction for the top 3, Connor, after his dominant performance in Australia, I'm going to go for him for the win. I'm going to make it a CPI 1-2. I think Bullet Boy will finish 2nd. And for 3rd, Storm for 3rd for TTG Academy. Knows his way around the track and is quite cautious when coming to battles, but I think that's what you need around here. I'm going to preempt the 5 red lights because they're not coming out now. The revving engines are on though, as we are about to get prepared for Mini League 2 action. The 5 red lights are about to go out here in Silverstone. Very long hold on the lights, but it is lights out and away we go. Connor gets off to a very good start. Pariah though has already jumped him off the start, and a very good start as well by Oni Ollie down towards turn 1. Quite a few running wide there. There's a spinner in the back, but there's all sorts of carnage in the background as Conti has been called up, and that Maximus, Marcus, Virus, all of those guys pretty much splitting the field in half through turn 1. It looked to me as if it was might be Tamburgo or Marcus that got round, spun, and then went into Conti. 10-second time penalty for Maximus as Pariah has got the lead of the race, running down towards Brooklyn's corner for the first time through turn 6 and through the end of the first sector. We've got a bit of action happening as Connor switches to the inside line for CPI, gets the move done just onto the gravel there, slightly Pariah. This is going to give Oni Ollie now a chance to try and come and be right on board with Oni Ollie for 3rd position. Sean also was fighting with Torpedro. That's the battle I was going to go on board with, but however they stay as they are. So Torpedro's still in 6th, Sean in 7th. Looking at what happened earlier on, we should see a numerous amount of drivers coming into the pits, I would think. But Connor now beginning to dominate out in front, like he did in Australia. And if you tuned into that race, he really dominated that race. And he leads by 8.5 tenths of a second and nearly 9 tenths of a second as the Snake comes down towards Stowe here at Silverstone. And Pariah is in 2nd. Oni Ollie in 3rd. Bullet Boy after a good start in 4th. Storm in 5th. Pretty much the top 5 have stayed as they are as they come now through the final corners through Vale and Club for the first time, and it is CPI Connor who leads the way, and already a 1.3 second gap coming through the final corner there to lead. Pariah in 2nd, Oni Ollie in 3rd, Bullet Boy in 4th, Storm in 5th, to Pedro 6th, Sean in 7th. Hazara was trying to go for a move down Vitinho. We'll watch this battle though for 7th and 8th as Sean is right on the back of Torpedro. Pedro in the beautifully Norwegian colour livery. I think TNR might be running different liveries for each of those drivers. TTG Sean though in the meantime is trying to get onto the back of Torpedro. Marcus, Axnes, Tamburgo and Maximus all into the pits. Conti the only one out of the race. So TTG Academy possibly going from bad to worse there for them. TNR Hazara trying to go around the outside though. Not quite. Pariah looks like he's on a little bit of a trim, a little bit of a bump there from Hazara on the back of Vitinho. Not pulling off the move as Lewis has made up a good position past Bjartman. So Lewis has gone past Bjartman. I think that was on the run down towards Woodcut through turn 8. So he's got that move done there. It is CPI Connor though who leads the way. But Pariah is holding up everyone in behind. Pretty much like a Northern Rail Express currently out on track. Pariah in 2nd, Oni Ollie in 3rd, but Bullet Boy looking very feisty in 4th position. CPI looking to try and reclaim TNR at this stage. Currently looking good at the minute as Oni Ollie is down the inside of Pariah. Tries to get the move done. He does get the move done. Oni Ollie, good move there down the inside of Pariah. Pariah though will come back in towards Vale. Bullet Boy's just going to sit and wait, I think, for this one. The DRS will be enabled on lap 3. But all of this battling and all of this being held up is beginning to let Connor get away by a very similar margin to what we saw in Australia. As Pariah is down the inside up past Oni Ollie. Bullet Boy has to take avoiding action there. Pariah off track. Never going to go side by side through there. And Bullet Boy tries to make it 3 wide. It looks like Oni Ollie might have just shut the gap up on Bullet Boy. And it's all sorts of carnage happening. The driving standards falling to a plumb here. Vitinho has got past Bullet Boy in the meantime. Little bit of a dangerous rejoin if I've got to be honest. In the meantime, Storm is trying to go down the inside of Oni Ollie, trying to get the move done. He doesn't. The Storm stays in 4th position, 5.1 seconds till the gap. That is what I mean. It's all very clustered from 2nd downwards as Bullet Boy has got past Hazara, who was actually trying to go around the outside of him. Bullet Boy now under pressure. He has got damage, I think, to that right side end plate out on track. So Bullet Boy will be suffering from a lax in turning. And pretty much the top 10, top 11 now, maybe even the top 12, beginning to split in two slightly, as that is Top Pedro trying to go nearly side by side with Storm there. Oli right on the back of Pariah in the meantime. He's going to get him done. So Oli up to 2nd, passing Pariah, and Storm has gone through on Top Pedro as well. It's 2 by 2. Like Noah's Ark, pretty much quite literally down in towards Stowe. Hazara, Sean trying to go up the inside for the TTG Academy, not quite. Schnicksel's getting up there, and Lewis as well. Lewis, in fact, is into the pit, so they're pitting in early. So a lot of damage, I think, suffered on that 2nd lap. Vitinho, Bullet Boy and Lewis all pitting in as a result, I think, of front wing damage. Correct me if I'm wrong on that, if you might have seen something different. Oh, and Pariah goes miles off through turn 1. Pariah trying to take that flat out, rejoins in a safe manner and has to let Storm and Torpedro through in the meantime. So I think Pariah doesn't want to overcook his tyres. It looks like they're already beginning to get a bit blistered out on track. But on settling down and looking at what compound of tyres everyone has got on, Lewis has gone on for a set of mediums, so has Bullet Boy. They started on a set of mediums, they're on for a set of softs, and Vitinho from a set of softs goes on for a set of medium compound of tyres, because if you choose the same tyre in the pit box, then you're going to get disqualified, like some people did in one of the TTL races a couple of weeks ago. I think, in one of the League of Europe races that I covered for TTL F2, that was, for F2, for the F2 Championship in the LOE. That's what I meant by that. So Pedro right on the back of Storm, trying to get the move done then. The Norwegian right on the back of the Brit. A lot of action that you can appreciate that I can't keep up with. So Pedro is on the back of Storm. He has got the DRS, so he is getting closer down towards Stowe. I don't think he's going to be close enough to commit the move. He's not. Storm runs around the outside line to try and prioritise the traction through the corner. Oli is into the pits, and Torpedro had a second thinking there, if I'm going to be honest. I think he was going to try and come into the pits unless he had a snap of opposite lock. Torpedro was going to come into the pit. I think him and Oli are teammates, and that is why we saw Torpedro lose a little bit of time. Hazara right on the back of Pariah as well. So TNR currently, I think, out in front. Of course, we'll try and get those those standings done in between the races. Sean is right on the back of Hazara, and the Brit right on the back of the Norwegian here as we run down towards Brooklands once again on lap 5 out of 13. If you're just tuning in, you've missed quite a lot already, but I will fill you in on what's happened. Connor leads the way, 9.4 seconds out on track from Storm in 2nd to Pedro in 3rd, just running wide there in the foreground of shot, from Pariah in 4th. Hazara in 5th, Sean in 6th, Schnicksel trying to chase down in 7th, with Bjorkman in 8th, Storm in 9th, YWR Storm that is in 9th, TNR Virus in 10th. The rest of the guys have been into the pit, so only Oli has been in and is ahead of Lewis in 11th and 12th, Bullet Boy in 13th, Vitinho in 14th, Marcus in 15th, Tamburgo in 16th, Axnes in 17th, and Maximus in 18th. The bottom 4 drivers all pitted in as a result of damage, or the bottom 3 I should say, all pitted in as a result of damage. Nobody getting quite close enough here at Silverstone just yet to try and pull off the move. I have a feeling though we will see some of the leaders pit in, and that is exactly what we are expecting. Quite a few are coming into the pits. That's too fast from Hazara going in, and Storm picks up a 5-second time penalty as well. There's a yellow flag in sector 2, and that is Maximus. I think that is round. It is indeed Maximus that is round through Luffield and through Brooklands and into Luffield there, but we'll see on board with Hazara as he goes on to that set of medium compound of tyres. Of course, it is really the only strategy to go on. Virus is on the back of YWR Storm though in the meantime. A battle for current 6th and 7th position out on track, and Virus switches it back down the inside on, just makes him look like a complete and utter mug, I think, with that one. Virus gets the move done on Storm. That was quite easy. Great switch back there from the Norwegian on his, what nearly is his fellow teammate. If this was a TTL race, it's not. So Virus is up into 6th position. Made him look like a complete and utter mug. Pariah defending off Sean at the minute. Sean in 3rd, with Pariah in 2nd. Schnicksel in 4th, Bjorkman in 5th. Bjorkman in fact running quite wide there for YWR. of course, the standings will appear. We're right on board with the battle that is beginning to develop further down the field, though. It's Hazara on the back of Torpedro, and this is for 11th and 12th position. These guys, remember, have just recently been out of the pits, so the guys ahead, some of the guys ahead anyways, will be pitting in very soon indeed. We should see the likes of Pariah, Sean, Snixel possibly come into the pits, and in fact, the four behind Connor are all pitting in. So Pariah, Sean, Schnixel and Bjartman all into the pit lane, out on track. Look at Bullet Boy getting onto the back of Hazara, trying to be the pick up and go man, I think, out on track. Bullet Boy trying to ensure that he has got a rocket in that CPI car. Bullet Boy on the back. Of course, the softs will be wearing a lot quicker compared to the mediums, and there will be a difference within the race where the pick-up period comes. So where essentially the delta time comes, if this was from dries to wets, that would come in terms of the softs to the mediums as well. Bullet Boy, though, will go past, I should say, quite a few of the field. I think he's going to be just ahead of Sean, and there is Sean just coming out of the pit. So Bullet Boy currently in a net possibly 8th position, because Connor and YWR Storm are still yet to pit. Lewis is up to 3rd. A great undercut from Lewis. Could be on for CPI 1-2 here. There's one man that we're going to be focusing on. That will be CPI Connor towards the end of the race. We are halfway through then in Silverstone. Connor leads, Storm in 2nd, Lewis in 3rd. Ollie in 4th, Storm in 5th. Storm in the meantime on the back of Ollie. And mediums against the hards. You know, if I was in this position, I know I'd be favouring Storm in this, but of course the mediums will wear at a quicker rate compared to those set of hards. And Ollie, I think, going onto a set of hard compound of tyres, mixing up the strategy too much. I have a feeling he might have pitted onto the wrong tyres, if I've got to be honest. There's a little bit of a contact moment coming through Woodcut there. It was Tamburgo and Axnes, I think, that came into contact. Now Storm onto the back of Ollie, trying to get the move done. Not quite close enough though, and again Cortes his middle name as Bullet Boy is right on the back of Hazara as well. This is down towards Vale. He's got the car slightly alongside. Bullet Boy late on the brakes, nearly locks up into the back of Hazara there, and Hazara just gets caught on the curb. Bullet Boy will try and see this up the inside line. He gets caught on the curb himself, and I think it's just going to be Hazara with a drag race down towards turn 1. Bullet Boy in the inside line, pulls it off. What a move! Bullet Boy gets the move done on Hazara. He might be on 4-lap old soft compounded tyres, but he's made that look pretty easy in the end. Had the inside line. Hazara gave him the space to complete the move. Tell you what, good driving that between them both. Bullet Boy is up to 6th position. Sean then is on the back of Hazara. In the meantime, Storm is on the back of Ollie and Bettino, right on the back of Schnixel. This is in the back of Charlotte now. Look at Bettino's speed down the straight. It's almost as if he's just came into the race. Bettino down the inside has got the move done for the TTG Academy and is up into 9th position. And they, remember, are chasing YWR and trying to pull away from YWR in Mini League 2. CPI Connor then into the pits from the lead of the race. We've got YWR Marcus also into the pits as well, who's right at the back of the field currently. 18 still going. Conti, of course, getting caught up in that first lap melee out on track. Connor will be miles ahead of the field here. Lewis is in 2nd, essentially going to play in a wingman role, I think, like we saw, I think, last time out. Bullet Boy trying to switch it down to the inside onto Pedro. Not quite close enough. He's carrying a lot more speed though, is Bullet Boy on the back of Pedro. Trying to pull off the move. Not quite. There's two battles we can really focus on, and they're pretty much within the same space of each other. Connor, by the way, came out in front. A Storm is to the outside line on Ollie, and in fact, Ollie just lets him through to Storm. Right around the outside. That could be a tactical move as well. Ollie could go for the DRS, and I think that is what has been done there by the TNR man. Probably an instruction by the Threakser, I think, on that one. TNR, Ollie down to 4th. YWR Storm picks up a 3-second time penalty. Bullet Boy is on the back. A little bit of weaving going on. So Pedro trying to break the toe, but Bullet Boy is now side by side, and Ollie is side by side, and down the inside he goes through Brooklands. Can he get the move done? He's just overcommitted himself. Oh, to Pedro. Coming in a little bit late, he left the room, Bullet Boy. He gets the switchback out of left field. This is a perfect switchback through Woodcut, and Bullet Boy should surely pull off this move. A fantastic read in the scenario if he can pull this off, and he does. Bullet Boy is up into 5th position out on track. perfect reading of the scenario there between Bullet Boy and Torpedro. He knew that the car was going to be slower out of the corner, and Bullet Boy is through and he's up to 5th. Vittino is out of the race, and that is through Cop's corner. He has spun that out. Storm is all over the shop trying to break the toe on Oli. Bullet Boy is there coming as well. This is really going to get quite spicy. Bullet Boy around the outside, and Oli gets the move done. He is pulling off some tremendous moves. This is what you come to expect, and this is what I don't normally see of him in League of Europe Division 1. Storm trying to force it up the inside, never going to have that one, my son, and Bullet Boy is soon, he's up to P4. Could be a CPI 1, 2, 3 at this rate. Connor leads the way by 6.1 seconds. Lewis has just whetted his appetite, I think, with this one. Only Ollie holding up a right train of 6 cars all the way down to TTG Sean in 8th position. Only Ollie is probably thinking, what have I done to deserve this? Bullet Boy is on the back and could go for P3 here, but remember the hards will be quicker than the softs towards the end of the race. Bullet Boy to the inside line, then through Brooklands, and he gets the move done. So Bullet Boy getting the move done, up to P3 he goes, making it a CPI 1, 2, 3. They need a big comeback, and this is exactly what they're getting currently in terms of the standings. Remember, there was a 26-point gap between TNR, and speaking of TNR, it's TNR Torpedro against Storm down the inside into Corps. Can he pull off the move? Storm will have the outside line, and it's still side by side down towards Baggett to Beckett. Hazara trying to come in on the act as well. It's side by side, and Torpedro gets the move done. And right around the outside, Storm, I think, being a little bit cautious there for my life. Oh, trying to go down the inside on Storm, trying to pull a two-way move. He's not going to pull off that one, however, and Storm holds on to 5th position. Sean, TTG pretty much forcing TNR into a sandwich. In 5th, Sean coming in 8th position out on track. Storm in 5th. I do apologise, I think it might be my end where the lag is picking up. Hazara, Torpedro and Sean in the meantime. Oli trying to get back onto the back of Bullet Boy out on track, and he's only 0.7 of a second away on the hard compound of tyres. Remember, the soft compound of tyres for Bullet Boy will begin to wear away towards the final 2 laps of the race. CPI Connor still leads 6.7 seconds, the gap, but all of them really going great guns here out on track. And Hazara is on the back of Storm as we come through. Yeah, my internet connection quality is not currently sufficient to broadcast the gameplay. I will try my damnedest to get through this one though. Storm is on the inside line, looking good there, and Torpedro now pressurising Hazara. So 2 different liveries of TNR. Hazara trying to break the toe. Storm is trying to break the toe on Hazara as well. Hazara to the inside line through Stowe. Can he get the move off? Storm is around the outside. Torpedro can make this 3 wide down in towards Vale. This will be fantastic if he can pull it off. Torpedro's down the inside. Torpedro and Storm are still going at it, and Storm still somehow has not got the move done, as Torpedro has been contacted, I think, and all of that, and Hazara is through on Storm. Poor camera angles, not from my end, I do apologise, but Hazara has got through on Storm into 5th position. I think it was 3 wide coming out of Vale. Great racing, and Storm is trying to force the gap onto Hazara, but not quite pulling away. Bullet Boy is beginning to pull away on Oli as well. Lap 12 out of 13 here, penultimate lap of the race, and there's all sorts of action going on out on track. This is exactly what we want to see. I hope it's whetting your appetite for later on if you are part of Mini League 1. Hugh McGinley and Aidan Carter are going to be taking you through that one, of course. TNR Virus trying to get onto the back of Schnitzel though in the meantime. And for CPI, they've really came about themselves. Remember, they've only got 4 drivers coming into tonight, and CPI, I think, are going to outscore TNR as a result, and that will mean we will go, I think, quite close towards the final race of the Mini League 2. So if you want to catch on board with CPI and TNR's tremendous battle, we'll get a point update hopefully after this. Connor though leads the way, and we're about to go on to the final lap. He just enters the final lap. Torpedro 3 wide down towards Stowe. Torpedro down the inside. Oh, it's pulled it off, surely. Torpedro down the inside on Storm and Sean. 3 wide between the guys out on track, and Torpedro has made that look pretty easy in the end. Down the inside of both TTG drivers, and he's through and he's up to 6th. What a move. Sean in 7th, Storm in 8th as we start the final lap of the race. Schnitzel and Virus are trying to catch as well. Virus right on the back of Schnitzel. There's only been one dominating driver though out on track, and that is CPI Connor. I did say in Australia that he will be a one to follow. I think honestly we've got it right with Connor, and he's done a fantastic job out on track. My prediction's sadly not going as right as what I would have hoped, but I'll try and take that CPI 1-2 if I've got to be honest. Connor leads, Lewis in 2nd, Virus not close enough to the move through Brooklands. So then we'll ride on board with our leader of the race as he comes through Maggots and Beckett's for the final time. He pitted earlier than his teammates on a set of, he pitted later than his teammates on a set of soft compound of tyres, and he switched to the mediums, and CPI Connor has made this look like a total domination, and a total CPI domination at that as well, as Connor now comes round the final 2 corners through Vale and Clove, through turn 18 for the final time. Connor takes it for CPI. What a win for Connor. 2 wins out of 2 races that he's completed here in the Mini League 2. Lewis is going to be across the line in 2nd. But Bullet Boy going to be coming across the line in 3rd. Of course, penalties might still change things. Bullet Boy across the line in 3rd. CPI 1, 2, 3, I think. TNR Unioli across the line. He nabs Bullet Boy for that 3rd position. Hazara 5th. Torpedro 6th. Sean gains. Storm doesn't. Schnitzel and Virus go past him. Pariah across the line finishes in 11th. Tamburgo, one of the guys that we haven't really been on board with during this race, in 12th. Caught up in that early contact, but he's came across the line in 12th. Bjartman in 13th. Axnes in 14th. Storm in 15th. YWR Storm in 15th. That is Maximus. Maximus going to be coming across the line in 16th position. And we'll wait for YWR Marcus, who is coming round the Maggots and Beckett section. Currently Maximus across the line in 16th. The rest to forget for him. And YWR a race to forget in general, I think, as Bettinio went out early on. So 2 TTG Academy drivers not finishing will give YWR significant points advantage, or points gain, towards TTG Academy at the end of this. Marcus then coming across the line to finish in 16th position. And he's on the set of soft compound tyres, and he comes across the line now to complete for 17th position out on track. Well, I hope you enjoyed that one as much as I did. It is CPI Connor though who takes the win, and it's a 1-2 for CPI as Lewis took 2nd as well. So we go to the podium celebrations, and it is CPI Connor who takes the win out on track. As I say, CPI Connor, the last time he raced it was in Australia. He won that by, I think, over 10 seconds that day. Not as much as what he would have hoped for, I think, but CPI Connor a class above the rest here in Silverstone, and really marks a CPI resurgence for the 2nd race in Mexico. And if he thought there was a lot of overtaking in Britain, trust me, there's going to be a lot more in Mexico. CPI Connor then takes the win. Lewis in 2nd, a great drive from him to pull off that CPI 1-2. Oli in 3rd, Bullet Boy in 4th, so my 1-2 just going down by a couple of positions there. Sean in 5th with Hazara in 6th, Torpedro in 7th, Schnitzel in 8th, so CPI filling out 4 drivers in the top 8. Virus in 9th, Storm in 10th, with Pariah in 11th, Tamburgo in 12th, the lower place of the TNR drivers, with Axes in 13th, Bjartman in 14th, Storm in 15th, Maximus in 16th, and Marcus rounding off 17th, Bettinio and Conti not finishing. Conti, of course, going out before corner 2. As then we get back into the lobby and we get set for Mexico. We'll take a couple of minutes break within commentary, and hopefully you guys have been doing well on this fine Wednesday evening and enjoyed that race. Your motorsporting fix still to come, however. And looking at what was being saying, Connor will win. Yeah, Connor did win quite competitively indeed. We're going to get straight into the action for Mexico. There are the points on the screen right now. If somebody can do the standings for me, that'll be fantastic, and put them in the chat, that'll be fantastic. Of course, we're going quite late on, we're going quite early on into the race, so we're going to get done quite early. So Bullet Boy coming in saying, considering I was 14th, I'm happy. Very good performance, I think, as a result. Schnitzel said he got held in the pits, which is why he finished in 8th position for the CPI team as well. Unfortunate, but it was still a top 8 finish. If I'm not mistaken, out on track, I was just doing a little bit of quick matter. I think CPI have taken, or are close to taking the lead out in the standings. So, well, that's how close it is between the action out on track. CPI and TNR about to do battle for the win here. Schnitzel saying last race we go. Yeah, last race of Mini League 2. Of course, if you are tuning in League 1, the beautiful Kieran McGinley and the beautiful Aidan Carter will be taking you through, I think, both races that are going to be there. Aidan will maybe join at 9:15. But we are here at the Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez, one of the only tracks that is actually run above sea level, and there's about an 80-metre difference, I think, in sea level change. So that, in terms, is about 225 feet, I think, out on track. There was quick maths done right in my head there. 17 corners await the drivers. There are 3 DRS zones on this track, one down the main pit straight, one down towards turn 4 at the end of sector 1, and one down through the S section, just off the S section, through 11 and into turn 12 before we get to that baseball stadium, of course. Who is your money on? Who is you supporting in the stream? Let me know, of course. I will check the comments just after we have this formation lap. Just after we have one track qualifying, I should say, and we get straight in and we go on board with TTG Sean, who should be up for a good lap, I think, here tonight. We'll go on board them as we come across the line. Fuller Boy, Storm and Lewis all running on a set of medium compound of tyres just to pick up as he now comes down the straight. Sean reaching in excess of 210 mile an hour if you've got a good straight line speed setup. Sean down into turn 1, heavy braking zone. Then through turn 2, got to feather the throttle through these corners. Through turn 3, looking nice, just catching the X of the curb slightly. But Sean now running down towards turn 4. And towards the end of the first sector, somebody has invited me belligerently, I think. Clearly you can't see me that I'm actually streaming. Sean through the middle sector though, now through turn 6 and 7 out on track. Good double right-hander, looking nice. He's down in 10th position currently. It's CPI, Connor Vittino and Ornioli who are right up there towards the standings. S section, really going to prove quite tricky for a few of these drivers. Sean making it look quite easy through 11 and now through 11 and then into towards turn 12. Pariah and Storm for the YWR team are already out of the session. Sean 56.2 through the middle sector. Now we come into this baseball stadium section, which you'll probably been familiar with if you watch Formula E as well. Sean now coming through the final couple of corners, looking like he's going to be around the mid-pack with this lap. Sean about to come across the line now. It's going to be a 15 from him, and it's a 14.8. It is to Pedro, who takes the win, who takes qualifying and takes pole position for the TNR team. So TNR might be biting back at CPI here. We'll have a rundown of the grid just now. And only 11 drivers getting the lap in, 1.3 seconds just under separating until Pedro out on top by 900ths of a second from Connor in second, Schnitzel in third, Ornioli in fourth, Vittino in fifth, Hazara in sixth with Marcus in seventh, Tamburgo in eighth, Sean in ninth and Axnes in 10th, Lewis in 11th. Everyone else, I think, getting themselves invalidated, possibly through the S section. Conti, Maximus, Storm, Bullet Boy, Bjartman, Pariah, Virus and Storm. Luckily for those guys, they can start on a fresh set of tyres as opposed to the top 10, who will start on a worn set of the soft compound of tyres. 18 laps then await the drivers here out on track. Let me know who you are supporting in the comment section as we come into tonight. And just looking at the unofficial points total, TNR 228 points, CPI, who I generally thought had overtaken these guys, they haven't, 210 points for CPI, TTG on 107 points and YWR on 91 points. 18 points difference. I don't think it was as close as the last mini league that I commentated on for Mini League 2, but 18 points separating 228 to 210 out on track. And no, that is not my full number if you was wondering. But 5 seconds to go, we're about to go on to the formation lap. And I'm just going to take a brief break from commentary. You can appreciate that my voice has taken a little bit of toll after shouting pretty much through the first race. I will mute myself and I'll be back in about 30 seconds. That was less than 30 seconds, but still, I'm back. And, of course, top 10 going under a set of soft compound of tyres. And looking at the strategies, with TTL starting on pole, Connor in second, Schnitzel in third. Medium compound of tyres, Storm, Bullet Boy, Bjartman and Virus. So, essentially think of it, one of the drivers out of each of the teams has gone onto a set of medium compound of tyres. The rest have gone onto a set of soft compound of tyres. So, TTL setting a very mid-paced formation lap here. Of course, I'm going to make my prediction towards the end of the formation lap, and it is a very tricky track, this. I've been around here on time trial, and I've been around here in league races before, and Mexico really does throw a lot out of these tyres, and the softs especially will probably only last about 6 or 7 laps before the guys will start to pit in. Mediums can run for about 10 or 11 laps, and then you'll see the guys from the medium runners pit in. They might be at a significant advantage towards the end as well, because the overcut I have seen work before. The undercut, however, is more prevalent around this track compared to the overcut, so that is probably why you will see the soft runners ahead of the medium runners towards the end of the race. As for my top 3 as we come through the final corner at turn 17, my top 3 in general, I'm going to go CPI Connor for the win. Again, I think he might just be too dominant in the race. Second, I'm going to go for TTL. I think he'll finish second. And for third, I'm going to go for Lewis in 11. Very dangerous on a fresh set of soft compound of tyres. Watch out for the Brit out on track. I can tell you he will be up for this one, as will the rest of the 19 drivers that are here out on track. 18 laps await the drivers out on track. I will preempt the red lights going out, of course, as we will get prepared for 5 red lights here in Mexico as CPI Connor leads the session right at the start of the race. And it's lights out and away we go. My prediction already out the window, and TTL gets us off underway, and TTL off the line early. There's only Ollie in second, Schnitzel in third as they run pretty much to the right hand side of the track. Be careful if there's any contact in behind. There's been a bit of a desync happen. Oh, and there's a massive contact in behind, and Conti has been caught up again. Conti is out of the race even before turn 1. Unlucky. So Pedro, Oli, Schnitzel, quite a few overtakes and happening further down the field. Sean is right on the back of Access. There's been a little bit of contact in behind. Bullet Boy and Bjartman, I think, have been caught up, and Bjartman is out of the race as well. So one TTG Academy driver, one TNR driver, one YWR driver out of the race early. Come through the S section for the first time. Remember, CPI Connor's car is still going around out on track. It is out in front. Conti leads the session, and I don't blame him at all. So Pedro leads the way though by 9/10 of a second. From Oli in second, Schnitzel in third. Everything just going a little bit to pot again, I think, in terms of the driving standards through especially the mid-half of the field. As Virus is trying to get onto the back of Pariah, not going to be quite close enough there for 12th position. Connor's AI car has set the new fast lap, but TTL with a 19.1 is now in the lead of the race. Schnitzel though, right on the back of Oli. Lewis caught up in early contact, is into the pits. So Lewis, I think, was that CPI driver that pitted in, and Storm is in, Bullet Boy's in, and Maximus again, another one caught up on lap 1 incident. He is into the pit as well. Tamburgo and Vitinho out on track. Turn for P10 and P11. Vitinho again looking like he's got a good straight line speed out on track. Just brakes nicely for the corner there, and the Brazilian right on the back of Tamburgo, the Norwegian. TNR against TTG Academy, and unfortunately for TTG Academy, they are now 1 driver short, and Bjartman is out of the race as well. So YWR 1 driver short, as we'll see a lot of overtakes now happen because of CPI Connor's disconnect out on track. It's a shame, out on track that he is thingy. I did predict him for the win of the race and he left. Oh, and Vittino tries to go down the inside of Tamburgo. Never going to pull that one off, my son. And Tamburgo currently in 8th position out on track if we discount Connor's AI car. We come now onto lap 3, and this is where the DRS will be enabled. Hazara on the back of Schnicksel and looking to try and get the overtake done. He's got to wait this without DRS, remember. Hazara to the inside on Schnicksel. Gets the move done. Nice move down the inside. Maybe the easiest move you might see all night. And he's through and he's up into 3rd position as Bullet Boy and Storm have had a collision, I think, coming through the middle sector they have. So Bullet Boy and Storm are out. CPI Connor, I'm proud to report, is back into the session. Axnes has gone just through on his car. A lot of action happening, as you would probably imagine here through in Mexico. Pedro leads from Oli in 2nd, Hazara in 3rd. Currently out on track, CPI not looking like they're going to get the win in terms of the standings. Schnicksel though is on the back of Hazara, and CPI could keep their dream alive here with Schnicksel out on track, currently ahead of Connor and currently ahead of Lewis, and Bullet Boy is back into the pit as a result of, I can only presume, is contact through the S section, and that's what happened there between them both. So Marcus in 5th. Connor has taken control of his car now, so he's back into human control of his car. He's now on the back of Tamburgo, so we should see a move maybe pulled off here by the CPI man. This is literally the hardest thing to do. Try and pull this off. This should be quite good from CPI Connor, and he goes through, I think, on Tamburgo down towards turn 1. YWR Storm and CPI Bullet Boy getting out of the way. Connor not getting the move done on Tamburgo. Didn't have the straight line speed, as Pariah does have the straight line speed, pulling off the move to the inside line there. And the YWR man is through on the TNR man, and he's up into P12 out on track. That is CPI Bullet Boy, by the way, just getting out of the way. It's Bullet Boy, Connor's to the inside on Tamburgo. Beautiful move. Tamburgo tries to force it up the inside. Never in my life was that going to be pulled off at all. Tamburgo, don't know what he was thinking there, trying to go up the inside. There was not a car length at all in that. Connor is up, and he's up to 9th position, and as I say, this is the impossible moment for him now out on track. Remember, he has been disconnected from the race. It is very hard to get mentally back into the race from this point, and if Connor manages to get a top 5, then I think we will see something special. As there's a yellow flag in sector 3, and that is Bullet Boy, is it? No, YWR Storm that is round. And we come across the line, and Sean and Marcus are, well, going inside of each other out on track. I wonder if there's been a D-Thing actually out on track. Sean is then through on Marcus. Schnicksel trying to go down the inside there, and Fazara not getting the move done though. Sean is up to 5th, and Connor is through on Storm up to 8th position as well. So Connor beginning to come back through the field here. Beginning to close down. Tamburgo did come into the pits that lap as well. Schnicksel is on the back of Hazara though in the meantime. Marcus and Pariah have picked up 3-second time penalties. And Pedro currently leads the way from only in 2nd. Tino currently dominating out on track, but the way things are going for Connor further down the field is now beginning to come into play. And he's on fresher tyres as well. Remember, the AI car will have not necessarily worn out the tyres as much as possible compared to what he would have been in human form. Schnicksel then on the back of Hazara. And I get the move done, not quite, down into turn 12 there through the baseball stadium section we go. So Pedro leads the way. We're about to go on to lap 6, so this is where we should see the sort of softs begin, the soft compound tires begin to pit in. And yeah, Oli is into the pits. I think just about he gets that into the pit. Schnicksel responds as a result of Oli coming into the pit. Any moves getting pulled off in the top half of the field? I don't think there will be. Pariah though was under pressure from Virus. YWR against TNR here, and I think this is only pretty much going to go one way out on track, and that is Virus through on Pariah. The easiest move you might see all night. Virus through, and he's up to P9. So, mediums now beginning to come into play, and this is why Storm and Virus will be going long haul into the race. Connor is already on the back of Axnes. A lap ago, he was 1.4 seconds off on Axnes. Marcus as well. Connor is really starting to strike into this. He looks, again, if I've got to be honest, a class apart. Tamburgo has gone through on Schnitzel. Schnitzel has just came out of the pit, so Tamburgo is ahead of Schnitzel, has undercut him out on track. But look at CPI Connor now trying to chase down Axnes out on track. YWR against CPI here. CPI need as many points as they can get, and they're going to try and have to do this the hard way. Funny enough, I think for Connor, he could get DRS if he waits for Bullet Boy, but switching to the inside line through turn 16, can he get the move done? Connor down the inside, he does, and Axnes was going to come into the pits anyways. Cheeky that, I think, from Axnes to come into the pits late. That promotes him up to second as a result of all these pit stops that are happening. So to Pedro, Hazara all into the pit, Sean continues on, Vitinho into the pits as well. Axnes has waited in the pit lane. He's misjudged that at all, because Marcus came into the pits ahead of him, so Axnes has been held up in the pits. So Pedro and Oli are side by side coming out of the pit lane. Oli ahead of Pedro. So Oli currently in the net lead of the race. Out on track, so he's undercut Pedro out on track. Pariah trying to get close, but Lewis is down the inside line of TTG Vitinho. Trying to get the outside line here through turn 2, off the camber of the corner. Ooh, just manages to get it done. I think Tamburgo and Schnitzel are going to run through though. Lewis just misjudging that slightly. It looked like he got caught on the curb. It's going to be side by side though between the two CPI boys out on track. Oh, and Schnitzel and Lewis fight. They're fighting each other, which is what I like to see. They might be in a team, but it's still league racing at its finest, even the two of them still fighting out on track. That's what we like to see. Sean, Connor has already caught up to Sean. A second away is Connor on Sean, and I think Connor has continued on. Storm has continued on as well. So, coming through the S section for these guys out on track. Tamburgo under pressure from Schnitzel out on track for P10, and Schnitzel just separates himself. Lewis probably thinking at this time, well, I'm on all the tyres. Let's see and wait this out. See if Schnitzel can try and drag me along into the race. That's probably what he's thinking. Sean has got out ahead of Marcus out on track quite comfortably as well by about a second. Pariah and Tamburgo and Schnitzel now under pressure. Tamburgo under pressure on Schnitzel. Here comes Lewis as well. Could be a 2-for-1 for the CPI boys. 3 wide down towards turn 1. Oh, Lewis has got the move done around the outside. That is the best move you will see in Mini League 2. Lewis around the outside. A real dummy play there between the two CPI boys. What a sensational move that was by Lewis. Committing himself all the way around the outside. He had the balls, and he had the balls to go past both of them. So Schnitzel and Tamburgo made to look pretty inferior, I think, out on track there. And what a move. He's around the outside and he's for 9th position. Lewis with one of the best moves I've seen in Mini League 2 history. Fantastic stuff. So Pedro trying to get onto the back of Oli then. 9/10 of a second for the net lead of the race. Connor continues on, and he's putting out that gap to Storm. Can Connor produce an impossible performance out on track tonight? Wait and find out for this one, I think. Wait and find out, because honestly we are going to get some really good battling out on track, albeit coming down in the midfield as Vitinho tries to get onto the back of Tamburgo. 3.5 cents separating, less than 2.5 cents now running down the straight. Vitinho getting closer. Look at the speed of Vitinho going down the inside on again, very similar to what we saw in Britain last round, just 20 minutes or 30 minutes ago. Vitinho trying to get the move off, but Tamburgo has just done him. So Tamburgo back through, and he's up into 11th position again. Marcus trying to get onto the back of Sean in the meantime. My voice is croaking. It is purely because I've started commentating and shouting a little bit too much. I have got a drink beside me. I'm not coming down with anything else. Connor leads the way by 5 seconds out on track. Softs quicker than the mediums, and he's into the pits. So Connor is into the pits from the lead of the race. Where is he going to come out in all of this? I think he and Storm has now been freed up. So Connor is going to come out. He's not going to come out ahead of these guys, is he? Let's find out. He's going to come out in 5th, I think. Connor is going to come out in either 5th or 6th, and it's going to be 6th position for Connor as he's now released out of the pits. Sean and Marcus running down the straight, well behind. So Connor out in 6th position. pressure tyres. Watch out for him towards the end of the race. My prediction still could come right. But now that inherits Storm into the lead of the race as we run on board with the two TNR drivers out on track, to Pedro and Onioli. Currently in the net lead of the race, these two. And TNR currently filling out a 1-2-3 out on track. So Connor currently in a net P4 for CPI. Could be the difference between winning or losing, but with three TNR drivers ahead, the wall, the Norwegian wall, is there for Connor to try and break through. Can he do the impossible? And can he try and pull off the win? He's got to pass three TNR drivers before the end of the race. Albeit, if penalties comes into play, then it'll obviously be easier, but he's got to pass drivers out on track. Connor beginning to catch Hazara for 1.4 seconds currently out on track. We'll keep an eye on that gap. We're right on board though with the battle for 9th position out on track. Closest battle actually. I'm going to check the comments to see what you guys have been thinking of this race so far, and of course if you are tuning in for Mini League 1 action, Australia and Spain just around the corner with Kieran McGinley and Aidan Carter going to be taking you through that one, of course. And as I say, hopefully you guys are doing well. McCrew has tuned in to the stream. Good evening to McCrew. Hopefully you saw that move with Lewis going up on the outside of both Schnicksel and Tamburgo earlier on. Pariah is on the back of Tamburgo though in the meantime. YWR and TNR out on track. Storm currently leads the way from Virus in second to Pedro third. But I've just seen the gap as now Pariah goes for the move on to Pedro. Sorry, not on top Pedro, on Tamburgo I should say, getting my two T's mixed up, and Tamburgo goes quite like a torpedo down the inside there, and he gets the move done. He's up to 12th position as Pariah ran very wide there. That's the new extension of track limits, I think. Connor right on the back of Hazara though. The impossible could become impossible for Connor. Following his progress through, and CPI, of course, need to get as many points as possible to try and repel off TNR in the standings. Oh, and Connor, oh, what a recovery by Connor. Just dropped the back end through the final corner. He will still have the DRS running down the straight. That makes his task a little bit harder though out on track, as we've got a battle in behind between Marcus and Sean running across the line. In fact, we haven't, because Sean and Marcus are nowhere near each other out on track. Connor just cost him a chance to go through down the inside of turn 1. And now Connor right on the back. You can see the different line he's beginning to take. Has he got the straight line speed? He's up for this, Connor. This is for P3 out on track. Gonna go around the outside and towards turn 4. You've seen a move pulled off here before, and Connor's done exactly the same. Went a little bit too deep into the corner. He couldn't care less if he went too deep. He made it look pretty easy in the end, and Connor is up into 3rd position. And as I keep on saying, will the impossible become possible for CPI out on track? They are resting their hopes, I think, on Connor out on track, as Storm has gone through on Vitinho. I think that was just a let through there on track. So Storm to 9th, passing Vitinho. And already, look at the gap beginning to be munched upon like a cat eating cat food. Connor is trying to munch his way back into contention here out on track. That was a very bad pun, I know, but we all need a bit of humour these days. Out on track. Sets the new fastest lap as well. So, Connor, 1:16.8, 2.4 seconds up on Onioli. We're right on board though further down the field as Virus is on the back of Tamburgo, and in fact, Virus has gone through on Tamburgo. Virus has gone through on a set of soft compounder tyres. Access not too far off the pace either, and Pariah gonna look like a sitting duck down the straight, and Pariah just... Oh, Tamburgo actually just coming across there on Pariah. Not really if that was meant intentional to try and pull off the move. Tamburgo just got to be careful. We've seen that too many times from him, I think, tonight. Either going for a dive bomb that's not really there, or to try and pull off the move, or to try and force another driver onto the other side of the track. It's not fair. It's not playing by the rules. Cut it out. Simple as that. Schnicksel trying to get onto the back of Lewis for 7th and 8th position out on track. 0.6 of a second separating. So Pedro 1.9 seconds has gapped Onioli out on track. He's got lap pressure tyres as well. But the rampaging Connor is only 1.2 seconds in behind. I think it was 2.6. when we came on board last lap around. So he's gained a second and a half on only Ollie in the last lap alone. I think he'll be on top of him by the next lap. Further down the field though, still that good battle happening. There's the yellow flag in sector 1, and I think that is YWR Storm that is round. YWR Storm, sorry, it's Bullet Boy that is round. I do apologise, Bullet Boy is round. Access though, trying to chase on Tamburgo. Tamburgo gonna have to try and defend this the hard way. Switches to the inside line. I don't think he's gonna defend it well enough though, because Axnes will go to the outside line. This is what we saw with Lewis earlier on, albeit in a 3-wide scenario. Axnes, a little bit of a push to pass there, trying to get the move off for Tamburgo. Much better access, and he's going to hold the position. I think Access knows he's not going to pull off this one as he downs the ZRS out on track. Parai will try and keep tabs on Axnes. Battle for second has happened out on track. Remember the disconnect that occurred earlier on. Connor, he was 1.1 seconds this time around last lap, and now he's up into 3rd position as Marcus has been overtaken by Lewis further down the field. So Marcus has gone through, Lewis has gone through on Marcus, who's trying to defend off Schnitzel. Schnitzel down the inside line, not trying to pull off the move, and TTG Storm is right on the back as well. All hell breaking loose here in Mexico. CPI Connor to the outside line, tries to run in the toe, and he's got past on only Ollie, so he's into 2nd now. Can the CPI man pull off the impossible? 2.6 seconds the gap. Storm right on the back of Schnitzel running down the straight. DRS train running down the straight. They're pretty much 2 by 2. Marcus down the inside on Lewis. Lewis tries to hold the outside line, and he will hold that line, I think, to the inside. Yes, he does. So Lewis holds on to 6th. Schnitzel though, YWR in a bit of a sandwich. YWR Marcus in a bit of a sandwich here. There's Lewis under pressure. Schnitzel could try and plunge it down the inside. Lewis and Marcus though are fighting very hard indeed, but this is on the limit racing here in Mini League 2 as Lewis has ran the outside again, holding off the position, tries to maximise the run off the corner, but here comes Schnitzel as well down the inside line, a little bit boxed in here, and Schnitzel does the right thing and doesn't go for the move. That wouldn't have been his, and there would have inevitably been contact there out on track. It is Lewis who is in 6th, Marcus in 7th, Schnitzel in 8th, TTG Storm in 9th. YWR Storm is back into the pits and will be lapped twice out on track. Unfortunate for the YWR man, who is trying to carry his team with a bit of pride. I'm afraid to say though, I think YWR will be coming bottom of the standings at this stage, with TTG outscoring them even with 4 drivers, Marcus and Lewis side by side, and I think Marcus is going to try and pull off the move here. TTG Storm already through. TNR Virus is getting involved as well. Marcus has gone through then on Lewis, trying to pull off the move. He does. So Marcus through, and he's up to 6th. Storm through to 8th. Virus down the inside on Schnitzel. Schnitzel really losing out down the straight here. Tries to force the car, but down the inside line, Virus always going to have that one. And Virus is up to P9 out on track. Lewis trying to gain onto the back of Marcus. He tries to sail around the outside. Oh, can he pull off the move? The 3 wide going through turn 6. Storm down the inside. Great reading of the scenario. Storm is through, and he's up to P6. Or is he? Because Marcus is side by side with him. Tries to lunge it. Oh, and there's contact. Marcus trying to go for a move that's not really there. I think that has really been the order of the day. Drivers not going for a move that is not really there. Storm has been caught off a little bit though, and now Lewis has gone through on his inside. Lewis has gained back on Storm. I think there was another yellow flag there in sector 2. I don't know who it was for, but Storm has gone back around the outside on Lewis. Unbelievable stuff. Penultimate lap of the race here in Mexico. It's Torpedro who leads. Connor not going to pull off the impossible, I don't think. 1.4 seconds the gap. But all the battles happening further down the field, and Lewis is on the back now of Storm, and Storm is made to look like a sitting duck down the straight. Schnitzel could make it through right down towards turn 1. Not going to pull off the move though, and they stay as they are. Phenomenal racing. It's on the edge stuff. Some of it a bit unclean, if I've got to be honest, but that's just me coming from a commentator's perspective, and I'm sure you guys will probably agree on the driving standards. Storm trying to go for the move, but again, cautious his middle name. He stays in 7th position, sorry. Schnitzel on the back, and he's trying to go around the outside here in towards 6 and 7. Trying to use the freshness of those softs to good effect. He's not going to go around the outside here, is he? Oh my god, if he did, Jesus Christ, that would have been the move of the race. Connor is within DRS range, only on that Torpedro as well. Connor could still pull off the impossible here. Storm to the inside line on Lewis. Not going to pull off the move. 6.5 tenths, 5 tenths of a second. Torpedro's going to be like a sitting duck down the straight. He'll be wanting someone to come sooner, because here comes Connor. CPI about to take the lead of the race. Connor to the inside line. He judges it wrong. Connor to the inside line. He tries to dive it, and that is not how to drive. Torpedro and Connor. Connor never going to work that one off, and the two make contact. It's the final lap of the race. Treat it like the final lap of the race and treat it with respect. That, I'm afraid, was not respect out on track. Connor leads the way. To be honest, I think unfairly out on track. He just misjudged it. He dived it down the inside. He's trying to force the move down the inside. Not really going to be his. I thought Torpedro, if that was clean, I thought honestly Connor was going to get the move done around the outside. He had the speed. He should have chose to stick around the outside line. He had the fresher tyres. What more can you do? Torpedro right on the back. There's the yellow flag in sector 2. There's been a bit of contact. It's between Vitinho and Lewis by the looks, and Lewis is round. So CPI not going to be winning this. Connor ran the final couple of corners then, in dramatic circumstances, is going to take the win of the race, but the stewards will definitely want to have a look at this one. Connor cross the line to win. Torpedro had a 3-second time penalty anyways in second. Only Ollie jumps him. Hazara will finish in fourth and jumps both of them. Hazara finishes in second, then Sean in fifth. Storm and Virus on a set of soft comparative sides are going to come across the line in sixth and seventh out on track. And in fact, Virus gains on Storm after a 3-second time penalty. I think Vitinho left side end plate damage, so I think he came into contact with Lewis late on. A lot of position changes there. Axner's up to 9th. Tambergo up to 11th, Pariah down to 12th. Lewis has gained to 10th though. Out on track, Marcus across the line in 13th. And poor old Bullet Boy, he's coming across the line in 16th. Not really his race. He had a phenomenal race in Britain. Sadly not the case here in Mexico. And he spins it out the final corner, nearly into the pit lane. He's got to get a move on though, because Maximus is coming around behind him. He's a lap ahead. Bullet Boy should come across the line here to finish in 16th position. And a bit of donuts towards the end with a bit of end plate damage, and Maximus across the line in 15th. Mini League 2 action could not have ended in more dramatic circumstances. The move for the lead was there for the taking, but a misjudgment I think on Connor's end, forcing him down the inside. A clean move that proved to be unclean, I think is the best way to describe that one. But it is Connor who does take to the top step of the podium, and whether or not he gets awarded the race win will remain to be seen. Of course, any investigations, please send them in to your respective to the respective stewards for TTG Mini League, and I will confirm in a second who those guys actually are. And I'll run you through the order in the meantime as well. So I get XP, fantastic. I get XP for commentating over the action, which is absolutely unbelievable. But out on track, it couldn't be any tighter. Connor, the only one not to pick up any penalties, but that of course will get looked into with the disconnect that he had. He takes the win for now. Zara in second, only Ollie in third. So Pedro in fourth. I think TNR have won it overall, so well done to TNR for winning it overall. Sean in fifth, Virus in sixth, with Schnixel in seventh, Storm in eighth, Axtez in ninth, Lewis in 10th, Vitinho in 11th, Tambergo in 12th, Pariah in 13th, Marcus in 14th, Maximus in 15th, Bullet Boy ran off in 16th, and Storm also finished there in 17th. The Artman and Conti out of the race on lap 1. Oh, dear me, we have to take a breath from that one and review what happened out on track. I'm sure you guys hopefully enjoyed the action out on track. And Schnixel coming in and saying, again, he was held in the pits. How the hell do people crash on the straight? I do not know how people crash on the straight. Schnixel coming in and saying, there are 10 pit boxes and I get held in the same box as another car. And there are only 2 cars within the pit lane. it was a glitch. I think there might have been a bit of a desync between Sean and Axnes out on track, so that might have caused a bit of a desync there. I read that pretty much down to the T, I think, with that one. But Mini League 2 action over and done with. Congratulations to TNR as it stands. They have taken the Mini League 2 victory, but my God, Mexico, really, really mixed driving standards, I think, if I've got to be honest, for Mexico. Much better driving in Britain, good clean overtaking, and to be honest, I know how hard it is on the final lap, and I know how emotions get to people, and I know that on the final lap of the race, it is literally hell for nothing for the race win. But to be honest, you shouldn't really try and go for a move that isn't there, and I'm sure you will right on board, Connor, with the stream later on, and I'm sure he'll watch this back and really analyse what happened to him. I don't think there was a car on the right hand, a car gap on the right hand side of Torpedro going in towards turn 1. So obviously that will be investigated, and I'm sure any incidents will get investigated indeed. Schnixel saying good fun guys, thanks, and a deserving win for TNR. Yeah, TNR take the Mini League 2 victory. If you do want to watch more content, if we have whetted your appetite even further, Kieran McGinley and Aidan Carter will be along in about 20 minutes time to take you through TTG Mini League 1 action for Australia and Spain. Tomorrow it is Kieran McGinley and myself taking you through TTL F1. That is going to be from Spain for round 2 of the championship. Watch out for the graphics as well. And TTSL on a Friday night, that will be happening as well. Myself and Paco Suarez is going to be taking you through that one. Again, I think it is Spain for round 2 of the championship there. So thank you very much for watching Mini League 2. I hope we provided you a smile on your face, and I hope you do tune in for more motorsport in action here on TTTV. But for me, James Head 14, I'm going to bid you farewell. Thank you very much for watching, and until next time, goodbye.